Hey Honest community, before we dive into this episode, we've got a quick free favour to ask. If you enjoyed the Honest Property podcast, please hit like, follow and subscribe wherever you're listening from. It helps us grow, reach more people and bring on guests that you want to hear from. Thanks for being a part of this. We appreciate you more than you know.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Honest Property podcast. We're your hosts, Becky and Ruth. And we love talking all things modern entrepreneurship and growing wealth through ethical property investing. And on today's episode, we have another lovely sibling duo, Kenny and Andrew, the Goad brothers. Goad? Goad.
Go.
Go.
Yes.
Go. And they are an incredible sibling duo based in East London, business owners and estate agents, also another bicultural sibling duo in property. So thank you so much they shared with us that Fridays are their schmooze day and they are sharing it with us. So we're really appreciative that
thank you for your
we're
time.
part of it.
Thanks guys. Thanks for having us on.
We're really excited about being on. You know, we've admired you guys from afar as well. So it's a real privilege to be on here.
Oh, thank you so much. So shall we go back to how this all began? What got you into starting your business?
And together as well.
And decided to do it together as siblings. Because a lot of people say to us, I don't know about you, but they always think, I could never do this with my sibling. And at least from our standpoint, we actually find it a major advantage because whenever there's a disagreement, we know each other so well.
Like we'll get angry, but then it's diffused very quickly because we will say it's not practical to continue being in a grudge with each other. Get angry, hug it out, carry on. That's kind of how we deal with conflicts.
Yeah, I think conflict is inevitable, and we've actually talked about this on one of our other podcasts, didn't we? About how beneficial that is for us because we can have conflict, but because we're brothers, you can move forward and get over it. Like you said, hug it out and then move on. Whether just holding a grudge against each other, it's just not gonna be beneficial for anyone. But also, I think the big thing for us is the trust element as well.
Yeah,
lots of trust. I think the age gap makes a difference. I'm Kenny's big brother. I'm 8 years older, so I think maybe if we were closer to age, it might be different. So maybe
18 months.
Yeah, I know, which is admirable. I think maybe if we were like 2 years apart, there might be a bit more rivalry there. There might be a bit more, friction. Because there's such a big age gap, I think, the relationship's slightly different, and
in what way? I'd be interested to know.
I think maybe in the early days, Kenny took my lead.
Okay, just because naturally,
because you're naturally the older. Yeah. Is that also a bit of a cultural thing? Because in Philip, because we're half Filipino, there's a lot of respect for the elder sibling. So do you find that kind of played into maybe subconsciously?
Yeah, I think so, definitely. Andrew being that much older, but I think also as well in the early days, it was an understanding that Andrew had more experience and he was older, so the natural thing for me to do is to follow his lead, and also just to know what you're good at and where your strengths are.
Yeah,
I think that's quite important. I think when you're brothers, you sort of tend to fall into those roles easier rather than always trying to compete.
So what roles would you say you've each fallen into? How do you complement each other?
I've been thinking about this recently, actually, Ken, and I think that a big power that we have is that we've probably not really got any defined roles, really. We make every decision together. Everything that happens, nothing's divided between responsibilities. So maybe in the future that maybe that's something that we may need to look at. That may not be able to continue if we continue to grow at the pace we have been, but especially in the early days, it was really powerful having two minds. Two minds are better than one. Mm-hmm. So every single minutiae decision, it was always done together, and it still is actually. It's done together.
Yeah, and even the way that we make decisions, most of the time we argue it out. And it's like if you can win the argument, if you can convince the other person, then it's a really good way to sort of stress test things.
Yeah.
Quite often we'll play devil's advocate with each other. And you can really see how confident the other person is in their idea as well that way.
That's a big one, actually. I think having enough confidence with someone, if you're doing business with someone who isn't your sibling, there isn't that confidence. You may not want to push the boat out in terms of disagreeing with them. You might want to be more on the fence. Empathetic about their feelings.
On the fence.
Potentially sympathetic, I think is the word I'm looking for. But when it's your brother, you don't really care. You just tell him how you feel and tell him how it is, really. And I think that's been a bit of a superpower.
I agree. I'm beaming inside because it's the truth with us too. You can be completely honest with each other as a sibling duo in business. Whereas, and I think sometimes when you are with other partners, you have to be a little bit more diplomatic. And
I think that takes a lot of energy.
It takes a lot more energy to have to I guess, control a little bit more of your feelings. Whereas with Becky and I, for instance, if we are in a bad mood, we can really read through each other a lot easier and go, oh, I know you mean to say this, but you're just feeling like this. And there's less wasted time.
Yeah, definitely. I think knowing what the other person needs is quite important. I think when we first started, the difference to maybe now is that, Andrew needed to be the peacock. Andrew needed to be, the guy, and my job early on certainly was just to really give Andrew confidence, and I felt like that's what I could give. I could give Andrew the confidence to we can go on this journey together and make him more confident in the decisions that we make together. And I think that's also quite important. We give each other that as well, don't we? Confidence.
Yeah, I think it's changed over the years because obviously there's a lot of us now. We've got 87 staff, so when we're in environments where we're having meetings and, a normal relationship between a sibling is you would tell them how you feel. Maybe you would be a little bit more impatient than you would be with people normally. But I'm having to catch myself now because there's people around us that are observing and so we have to be more professional, So behind closed doors, maybe we're not. But now we have to maybe put on this face of, kind of curt politeness with each other at times when before we probably would have been chatting each other.
In the early days, we used to have blazing rows in the office in front of people.
Yeah, we did in really early days. Yeah.
That's so funny. That must be quite a change to not be able to be as fully expressive as you would be normally.
Struggle for me. Just so for you, isn't it, Ken? It's a struggle for me, really.
When did you guys start working together? When was the defining factor where you went, oh, we're going to work together? Was this a family business before you both, or you both just decided we want to get into property?
Well, Andrew was a estate agent before me, obviously because he's older, and I was leaving school. I wanted at that point I thought I wanted to be a chef, and so I was working in a kitchen in Victoria Park in Hackney, and Andrew said, "Look, I'm doing estate agency. I'm really enjoying it. I think you would as well." And even then, Andrew said, "Look, you never know. One day we may well be in a position where we can do it together." So, although it wasn't a sort of early on, a clearly defined thing, this strategy, it was discussed that early on that we could potentially one day do it together.
I love that you both knew that you wanted to work together, even if it meant a little bit later down the line. You just both knew that was going to be the future.
Yeah, I remember having conversations with Kenny. I was an estate agent for about 12 years. I worked for someone else for about 12 years. And I remember telling him, is it time? Let's do it. And he's like, no, not yet. And I'm like, let's do it. And he's like, no, not yet. Let's wait. And I'm like, I'm ready. He goes, no, you're not ready. Let's just wait. So maybe it just gives you a little insight into our relationship, really. But yeah, from early on, I think 5 years in, I wanted to get on and open our own business. And
so
he was right. It wasn't the right time. We weren't ready.
So you always wanted, deep down, you always knew you wanted it to be a family business eventually.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think that very much comes from our culture, especially that's something that our mother instilled in us for definite. That
family are important. Family comes first. And
because a lot of our family in Colombia, they all work together as well.
They do, yeah.
Yeah. Latin Filipinos are kind of like Latinos because we were conquered by Spain as well, and there's a
Asian
lot
Latinos.
Of there's a lot of cultural similarity.
We went to school with a lot of Filipino.
family is like super high up, like if not the top of the priority.
It's like the center of everything.
And I was going to say, I actually think it's really natural. Like besides just like Latin or Filipino culture, it's I personally believe that back in the day, all families worked together. It was the natural thing to do. You work, you go harvest, you delegate roles to each other, and it's a way. It just feels so much more natural to work this way
because you've already got that relationship, and business is all about having really good relationships, isn't it?
The trust is already there. Like we are, whether you like it or not, we are connected, and we all want us to do well and be there for each other. And it's just, it feels so, I've said
sharing wealth is really important, so, 4 or 5 heads are better than one, and especially when it comes from a financial perspective.
I think where does this come from? Because I think if you go back to maybe like, and I don't really know, I'm not a historian, but if you go back to the medieval times or something, I'm sure families worked together then. I just think maybe in the modern, individualistic society, changing all of a sudden, constant competition against each other rather than collaboration. Because what better way to enjoy success and journeys than with your family? I mean, that's
I don't want to use generationally, but maybe baby boomers have got something to that in terms of culturally. They grew up in a society after the Great World Wars, and it was a very me kind of generation, and they still are, and we're still living through that, in terms of the corporate world and the baby boomers being leaders within that, and so I think that might have a big part. I mean, we could talk philosophically about it, but that might have a big part to play, because I would say before the war, you probably had lots of family businesses, it was probably quite common.
Exactly. You know what? Actually, I love that yours is Goad Bros, because it's not often that you see those vans driving around and it says so and so and Sons, or like so and so. Like that was a normal name of a business back then. Whereas now, I totally agree. There's been a huge shift, and I feel like it's getting quite deep, but like society's trying to go back to how it was, because after the war, it was like, okay, every member of the family had their segregated lives, whereas before it wasn't like that. Like the wife would have her own life, the kids would be sent off to school, and the breadwinner, the father, usually would be sent. Like we're not together anymore. And we have but like a couple of hours at the end of the day to actually spend time with each other, whereas now, like you guys and ourselves, we are very much making the fact, like family, the focal point of how we live our lives and run our businesses, which I really love. I think it's how it's meant to be.
And I think maybe, I mean, it depends on the family, I suppose, but I think maybe
we've got a sister as well.
Yeah, it probably has an impact on the staff as well, because I think the people that we work with and that work with us understand that there's something solid there.
Yeah,
there's a solid foundation, and through thick or thin, we're connected.
Yeah,
so I think that's a bit of security, perhaps. I don't know. We have to ask.
That's a really good point, actually. Like you've already got those roots, because you cannot leave your literally family tree. You cannot break
divorce your brother. Can you?
Yeah.
No, you can't. And that having that security, that to know that you're going to be in each other's lives, it doesn't matter what happens forever. There's something quite special about that, I think.
Yeah.
Did you both grow up in East London, or was that just so that's where you said, I'm going to set up shop. This is going to be the base where we build our business in East London.
Yeah, we lived in Colombia for a time. Kenny was born in Colombia, actually. And then my parents had a go. My dad's English. We had a go at living out there, but he missed England, so we had to come back eventually. But so we spent some years out there. But yeah, most of the time was in East London.
Is. And I think I was thinking about this just the other day, actually, about how much the area has influenced us in business as well. And I think perhaps if we'd maybe grown up somewhere else, maybe different outcomes might have happened. But East London has been really pivotal to us and our journey, and so much of our inspiration comes from from the local area, this part of London, which we absolutely love.
Yeah, and it being quite a diverse area, multicultural. And I think we've always felt comfortable in that environment, knowing that our mother's Colombian and, she's an immigrant. She came to this country. And I think that perspective always helped. Do you want me to get a bit closer? Knowing that, having that understanding, I think helped us with the multicultural communities that we work in. I think it helped us connect with people.
So your clients that come in, are they all because they're based in East London as well? Are they all from different backgrounds? Do you find you're able to kind of have a better connection with them?
But also accommodate your business towards who they are.
Yeah, I think it used to be more so before, but I think gentrification has changed slightly. But, I started working in Walthamstow in 2002. So it was a different place then, actually.
But how has it changed?
It's become more affluent.
Yeah, and the property prices have increased, and therefore, the type of people that come in and buy properties has also changed. You go back to 2002, 2003,
before the Olympics. Yeah,
it was nurses, teachers, and
policemen,
normal people, and I think certainly recently it's just crazy how the demographic has shifted in terms of what people do for their living, and
it's changed.
It's just mental. Yeah, trust funds and
lawyers, doctors. Yeah. So it's changed. We're dealing with much more of a middle class audience, I'd say, than we ever were before. So. But we've evolved with it. The business has evolved with it as well. We started out in Walthamstow because it's where we live, is where we're from. So it was easy for us. It was an easy decision for us. But we looked at that change, and not everyone locally is happy about those changes. No one. I would say it's gentrification. I don't think it benefits everyone. But we being from the area, we embraced that change. We saw it as something that we saw it as an opportunity. So we used it to our advantage, really.
I think that's the thing, isn't it? People get upset by change, but it's inevitable, really, and nothing stays the same all the time.
And people move, and it's a very layered topic. I think there's no complete right answer of how to gently give an opinion on the gentrification that's happening everywhere. Because where then do people move to if they are outpriced in a certain area? But we were talking about this the other day, about how maybe we don't feel like it's easy for us to say, oh, we'd happily move somewhere else because from our mixed culture, we don't necessarily feel like we're stuck in one place. If it means there's better opportunity somewhere else, or it's going to be cheaper to live somewhere else, then we're happy to move. But then if you've got people who they lived and breathed, were born, their whole heritage was in one area, then it's really difficult to get out of that mindset to say, oh, this isn't working anymore. I haven't moved with the times. Maybe I need to go somewhere where I'm looked after best based on so many factors. But it's such a layered. It's so layered.
It's so difficult, and it just it's just.
I think perspective is a really important one. Being able to give that gift to your children of a slightly different perspective, and it makes you appreciate what you've got. And I think living in Colombia, spending time there, it gave you a real understanding and appreciation for how lucky we are that we're able to grow up in London, grow up in England, in Europe. So we've always felt very grateful for that opportunity that our parents have given us to be here, and that's something that whether you are English or whether you are mixed heritage or whatever your background is, as a parent, to be able to give your child slightly different perspectives on the world, I think is really powerful for their education. Understanding that that we are very lucky where we live.
Incredibly lucky.
Incredibly lucky
because we've got family, obviously that that obviously are in Colombia, and people are desperate to leave, and we've got people from all over the world that are desperate to come to London, and we were brought up here. So how lucky are we to have that opportunity? So we sort of really thankful. And as I said earlier, how East London has influenced us, it's been amazing for us.
And that's why you have people that want to come to this country, and you understand. We're very understanding of that. If you want to come here and you want to make your life a better life, we shouldn't deny people that opportunity, really. But obviously, it's because we understand, we've got a little bit more of an insight into it because of a slightly different perspective that we're looking at it from. So
we spent all our summers, didn't we, in Colombia? All of the 6 weeks holidays. My mum used to send us off on our own.
Yeah, we went on our own. Yeah, from young kids. Yeah. I remember getting picked up at the gate by the air hostess. And
I think it's also important to mention what we got from our dad. That's
of course,
British, and how much he did also influence us in terms of hard work.
Very much so.
Quite a lot of our childhood, he had 2 jobs.
Yeah,
so he really instilled hard work in us. I think that's had a big impact on us as well.
Hey guys, if you're new to property investing, we know exactly how hard it is to figure out where to start. That's why we created the Beginner's Roadmap. It's your guide to mastering the fundamentals so that you can move forward with clarity and confidence. Plus, you'll gain access to our free community for ongoing support. Just hit the link in the show notes. Now, let's jump back into this episode.
I think one of the things that really attracted us to you guys was it's very... A lot of agencies kind of hide behind a bit of a corporate
look
and like a logo.
Yeah.
And whereas with you guys, you come across very much like this is a family business. We're brothers. You're proud of who you are, and you're
and it shows. It shows that you're proud. Like, it's so lovely to watch you both through social media. And yeah, that just you remind us of us, but in male form.
Thanks, guys. I think authenticity is a big part for us. Just being
massive,
honest what we do. And I think we really want to try and...
It's got easier the older we've got, actually.
It has got easier, but we really want to try and show people within the property industry that there is a different way of thinking, and there's a different way of approaching what we do. And I think culturally, the way people spend money and the way people are drawn to brands, it's all changing for the better. We really want to champion that. For the betterment of estate agents, anyone in the property world, which is why I think what you guys do and what you talk about is amazing as well. Approaching it from yes, we're here to make money. We all want to earn a living, but we can do that in the right way, and in the way that sort of doesn't affect anyone else. Negatively.
PR, I think, is really estate agents specifically, and property developers, they've got a PR problem, and I think we wanted to come across and maybe dispel some of those classic kind of what's the
overly
word?
sort of egotistical testosterone.
Yes,
I was
doing so much.
I was gonna say that, there's because we're portfolio landlords, and they're in the media also portray portfolio landlords as the devil. Not so different with if you work in estate agency work as well. I think you get that. You get that too. There's a stereotype of what it looks like to be an estate agent.
Trying to sort of change the face of property. I think everyone's a little bit apprehensive, aren't they, about and this is why I think what you guys talk about is amazing, because it's like changing the face of, yes, we're a landlord, but we're trying to change the sort of face of being in property, full stop. Whether you're an estate agent, whether you're a landlord, whether you're an investor, a developer, whatever it might be. Like Andrew said, I think it's got a bit of a PR problem.
It does. I think people do think when you say the word landlord, you say the word estate agent, you say the word even a letting agent, that they're like bad words.
Yeah, so I think doing what you do and sort of showing yourselves, putting your face to what you do, I think it's very admirable, because we went through that same apprehension. You know, it's like you said, you know, should we be nameless? Should we be faceless? Should we just be a corporate entity? But, you know, in a way, we felt like we had the right ethos and the right mindset from the start anyway. But, you know, exposing yourself and putting yourself out there almost in a way forces you to take your values and push them even further in a funny way.
I think if you think of estate agents having a PR problem, then having a family business, two brothers, you know, there's a story there. There's a story you can sell, you know. So I think when we first thought about the concept of Stowe Brothers, I think the story is what got us really excited, because we thought people would connect with that story, and it's just gone on from then. Really, obviously, we wanted to do business together, but how we're doing business now wasn't the plan, you know. But I think some clever marketing guys or some graphic designers say, look, you guys are really marketable. Why don't we just make you guys at the center of the story? And we've just run with it ever since, haven't we, Kim?
Yeah.
I love it. I think that's the thing, is if you hide behind like a corporate logo, the values can shift. But if you're saying we're the brothers, we are the face of this business, your own personal values and ethics,
you're holding yourself accountable.
You can't just shove them aside. They're part of who you are. And I think that gives people more faith and trust in the type of service that you're providing. And also by showing our faces and showing that, like, this is a
people business,
and we're serving the community. It's providing people with homes that they actually
feel safe and secure, and that they want, and
providing a service.
Exactly.
Yeah, and because the world is so digital now as well, like whether you're seeing them in person or, you know, first impressions, I guess they do count. And the first place that people go to look for your business is online. It's not even on a website anymore. It's on social media.
And walking into an estate agency, or trying to find somebody to rent a property from, it can be really intimidating. And you want to know that you're in good hands and you trust that person and you like that person.
Because I wish that when we first started looking for our first investment property, we could find a page like yours online, because when we started, we'd walk into...
It was so intimidating.
It was so intimidating. We were like really young girls.
There's something about the barrier as well, the way the office is laid out. We thought about all this when we started the business, you know, like instantly you'll go in someone, you've got this barrier, this desk across... So then there's a defining barrier. There's you and there's us. And we got rid of all those.
And then there's how you're dressed, that's another barrier.
Exactly.
You know, so it's all really it's all just really outdated and old fashioned now.
Yeah. You know, when you're a buyer, there's a distinct sense and understanding that, you know, the agent is not acting in my best interests. You know, you're going in there, you instantly, even if you meet a really good estate agent, there's lots of them, and they're really nice and they're really friendly, there's always this kind of underlying feeling that they're not really working in my best interest, they're working in the seller's best interest. So it's our responsibility to make, you know, people feel as comfortable as possible, you know, and you do that by the environment when they're walking in and how you greet people and how you dress. So all of that is to break down those barriers and for people to say, listen, we are here to provide a service, you know, whether you're a buyer, whether you're a vendor, you know, we're here to try and make sure that, you know, you have a great experience and, you know, and we do the best job we can, you know.
I love that. I love that you're disrupting what it is to be somebody who's in the property business or in the industry, because I don't know about you, but I don't know if you've been to these property events and they're still just like stalls on.
We stopped going to them for a long time. And just
people in suits, and I'm like, this looks so uninviting. And I just love that you're changing the scene. And together we're all changing the scene and changing what it's like. Like we're in comfortable clothes at home, being real people, just trying to help other real people.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, that's you know, we I don't know whether we mentioned, but we're 75% women in the company.
Yeah,
and that's not because, you know, we that's because people have deserved the jobs and they're in senior positions.
It's not been a conscious decision.
It's not been a conscious decision. Because you hear this a lot with people in all industries, and then you look into it, and there's lots of women doing a lot of admin jobs and things like that.
Yeah.
But for us, it's women are front and center in the business, because really on the main we found that make better estate agents.
I just think, you know, when you're going for interviews and you're looking for someone that to break that stereotypical estate agency mold, you're looking for honesty, kindness, empathy, you know, and all the and I think, you know, that we do hire men as well. But you know, when you're interviewing people and you're looking for these are your top of your criteria, what you're looking for in an individual, which are not stereotypical traits that you'd probably look for if you're a business owner, an estate agent, business owner. But it was for us, and women kind of ticked a lot of those boxes and still do.
That's why we totally agree. That's why we always believed that women make great property investors, because of our feminine traits, well, including empathy, and we have more nurturing tendencies. We're able to give good customer service, and ultimately that's top priority in our industry.
And these are all things that I think you go back to what it was like before. You know, the whole sort of Gordon Gekko sort of era. You know, we're probably seeing as weaknesses, but we really want to try and champion them. So, you know, every decision we make within the business is really benchmarked off of kindness and compassion, and you know, and doing the job in the right way. So it makes things really easy for us as well. And we're sort of constantly drilling it into people at work. Yeah,
we're trying to provide a community of an estate agent they can be proud of, you know, and that is, you know, we're just drilling that into people,
and trying to be being the antithesis of stereotypical estate agents. There are two mantras really that we follow.
But you've already done it as well with hiring so many women. The stereotype of estate agency work has always, well, in my own opinion, has been men in suits negotiating hard. So you've already broken that mold by introducing more women into your team. Also, I just wanted to point out as well that I love how passionate you are, that you both are. It's very clear that you're both passionate about business and making a community within your business culture.
Yeah. I saw Simon Sinek, and I love some of the things that he says. And he said, a community is a group of people that want to grow together, you know. And I think that's something really wonderful about that, because if, you know, when you're in a business, you're coming there every day, you know, there needs to be an understanding that you're all on the same page and you're all striving for the same things. And I think, you know, if you're all in it together and you all want the same things, then it's going to make coming into work and that little bit easier. You know, you're going to enjoy your day. So yeah, a community is a group of people that want to grow together. I love that.
It's great. And I think what's great about being in the position that we're in now is that the amazing thing is that we can really well and truly put our ethos and our the way that we want to do business into action, and actually have a really big impact on people, and not just the people that we deal with on a day-to-day basis, but the people that work with us as well. So and that's part of what I love about what we do is, like, you know, every small decision that we can make, whether it's small or whether it's, you know, giving someone a little bit more flexibility, or just being good employers, we're able to sort of live it, and you know, not just saying these things, but actually able to put it into practice. That's part of the job that I really enjoyed now.
Yes, it's not. Yeah. You know, the customers are very important, but you know, for us, where my and Kenny's head's at, it's about the people that work for us now. That's where our priority lies. That's where all our
I do feel that when your customers can see that your company culture is thriving and happy, it does, like energy. If you believe in energy flow, I really do feel like your customers can see that, and it draws them more towards you as a company. Like with your faces all over social media as well, people can feel that you're genuine brothers who care about what you're providing to the community. And I do feel like it really does show. And I'm not surprised that you've done so well in your company.
Yeah, we just love what we do. We just think we're so lucky.
Very lucky. We feel very lucky. Yeah.
Very fortunate.
Very fortunate. Yeah. The fact that we opened our first office in Walthamstow, you know, and I think one statistic at one point, nowhere in the country prices have gone up more in that particular postcode where our office was, more than any place in the whole country, and we were just completely flabbergasted by that. So, and that's just pure luck, there is nothing else to that than just pure luck.
And the next step for us on our journey now is to, now that we're of a certain size and that we're continuing to grow, we're now in competition, I suppose, with some of the big corporate nameless, faceless entities that you discussed. And I think that's great for us, because it's going to be interesting. It's going to be like our ethos of, trying to do the job of kindness and compassion, going right up against people that drive around in minis and suits, which is something that's like, we're really excited about that, aren't we?
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with a suit, Ken. There's nothing wrong with a suit, but
go back to them. You never know. That might have to be what we have to go back to.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit of a culture clash, a estate agent culture clash, I think.
Bring it on! I think you're going to smash it. Really, this is
you're the modern version, and you are like all of the faceless estate agencies around the UK. You breathe and live the modern way of doing things, and you are serving the modern community, the younger community, to be able to help them get on the property ladder. So I think you're just really going to smash it. I can't wait to see where you go.
Yeah, thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
It's great, and I think especially now we're properly on this social media journey. It just enables us to really push our values even more, and hopefully influence other young, budding entrepreneurs, people that want to get into the
other young estate agents, young business owners.
This is an example.
Yeah.
This is how we think it should be done. And if you have treat people fairly and do all the things that we talk about, then that's the way to do business. Because the example that we had when we were young was completely different.
Yeah.
I grew up thinking that you had to be an arsehole to be successful in business, and we've now proven that that's not the case. So I think that's really, really great thing that we're really passionate. Yeah,
if I'm being self-analytical, I would have said that if you would have asked me when I was 20 odd years old whether I would be a successful businessman, I would have said to you, no way, and because I didn't think I had the minerals for it. I thought you need to be some hard-nosed businessman to do it, and I never saw myself as that. But actually, kindness is a superpower. We're finding out actually. We're using it to our advantage.
I think it's just a recipe for a long-term, sustainable business that is only gonna, because it's such a positive energy, it's only gonna radiate that.
But business has changed as well. We've been talking about this a lot, about whether or not you think this too, because we're talking about feminine, but we are women, but we're talking with other women in business and even men in business. We've seen a shift from that quite authoritative, quite the stereotype of what a businessman is supposed to look like, and it's become a lot softer. Because people need it. People want to be in business with people who have more empathy, feel nurtured.
I was going to say, actually, because of how you guys come across and how your values and ethics shine through. If I was going to look for a property, it would just feel so much nicer to be like, I'm just going to send Kenny and Andrew a message and see if they've got anything, rather than kind of like pick up the phone to somebody or walk into a cold office where no one really cares. I would just be more inclined to message you guys. And actually for us as well, we get people who hear about us, and because we are I like to think we're quite approachable, they're just like, hey, they'd rather go to us than go to a letting agent and just check if we've got anything for them.
So how do you your business, how what is your business? What do you do, guys? How's your business? Obviously you're property investors and you're landlords, but what's the setup like?
Before we continue, here's a quick thought. Ever feel like there's just never enough time to focus on what really matters in your business? You don't have to do it all alone. As they say, a great team makes everything easier. That's why we've partnered with the Freedom Geek. Their talented Filipino VAs help us with tasks like admin and podcast editing, just like for this episode, giving us the freedom to focus on what really moves the needle. If you're looking to reclaim your time and to work smarter, then check out The Freedom Geek. All the details are in the show notes. Now let's get back to our conversation.
Well, yeah, that's it. We've taken on management of our own properties now. So we manage them all remotely. We've got a team in each area that the properties are based in. We've basically completely leveraged. Someone holds our keys. And they also do the tenant finding only for us.
Agencies, traditional estate agents.
Yeah, but it's a guy that we've known for like a decade, so we trust him. And he holds the keys somewhere that's pretty really convenient for any of our tradespeople to go in and just pick them up as and when. And the lady who coordinates our tradespeople, she's lovely. We're always like, "How was your Easter?" She's like, "I had a nice time with the kids." Like, we have a really we're just people. We're just having our lives, and we, be really conscious of it. Or if,
I don't know if you know our background, which is we borrowed money.
Well, you got into it right from
the
young, didn't you?
Yeah, 20, and we borrowed money from a family friend, or pitched everywhere. And
we went to London, we went to the yacht clubs, we went to the golf clubs. We were like, can we have some money so we can make a start? And all of these suited and booted guys were like, no. Don't try.
Yeah.
No.
What I think is commendable, what you did, talking about in your journey, of actually saying, this is what we want to do, and then we're going to go and make it happen.
Yeah.
And being so young as well, and being
really.
women in a mainly sort of male-dominated world.
It was scary.
It's incredible. You're such a good example. I remember I've got 2 girls, so if there's more people like you around, showing women what can be done and what you can do, I think it's just
you guys, you are also being role models for your children and being like, no, we can do business and we can grow our wealth and contribute to the family unit from a place of feeling good throughout the whole way. And I just totally love that that's what you guys are doing for your kids as well. Because our dad is a boomer, and he was a suited and booted guy, and that's the way things were done. So we had to navigate that for ourselves. But you already are giving your kids a great head start, I think, because this is just the nature of humanity. We don't be kind, and
Have you found the change in obviously the tax situation for landlords over the last few years? How's that been for you guys? How have you kind of evolved around the tax changes?
That's a great question.
Interest rates have ggone up as well.
Yeah, it's investing for the long run, and things like that will change.
We buy and hold. Ours is a long-term plan. We don't do flipping. That's not what we want to do. We buy and hold. We have the capital appreciation, and we have the rental income. We're not, there's so many people doing so many different strategies when it comes to property investing, and we know exactly what we want, and our properties are for us to also enjoy, so we can enjoy doing other business. That's always been our plan. Like, we love doing this. We love helping other people to also, a lot of freelancers and small business owners also invest into property so that they can continue enjoying the business they actually love. We're not the property investors who say, quit your job and then just become full-time sourcing and doing all these other different property strategies. We're very much like, keep doing what you're meant to be on this planet to do, but having investments really helps.
I think as
having
long as
passive income gives you freedom.
Exactly. And even if taxes or mortgage rates go up, our priority is making sure that our portfolio, we will rejig it. Like right now we're selling one, so that our priority is to make sure at the very least our portfolio provides us with enough residual monthly income so that it covers our essential cost of living.
I think a really important key to this, guys, is when you're investing in property, is it needs to be long term.
Yeah.
As soon as you think in like 1, 2, 3, even 4 years, that's when it becomes difficult. But if you're thinking more 5, 10, 15, 20, then investing is a definite, it's it's a fruitful way of using funds and finance.
Yeah.
Exactly. So if it goes up and down, say the mortgage rates are already coming down, we'll be in a better position again. Like, you just have to ride
The
with
waves.
those waves.
Ride the waves.
For us, the goal is to make sure that our recurring income covers our basic cost of living, and then if it's more than that, it's a bonus. Great.
Bonus.
Yeah.
Great way
And also, we're selling one of our properties right now, but we've held that property for 12 years. So now we can use that money to reinvest, redo our other properties. We're very much in it to not have, what do you call it? What's
like
it called?
Fast cash.
No, like have like 100 houses. No. We're there to have quality over quantity, because there's enough for everyone. We're not trying to.
And also, what makes you happy? What genuinely makes you happy in life? I think when people also think of people in property, they think flashy cars, they're driving, like they have a lot of excess materialism, which we also, there's nothing wrong with it, but ultimately the things that make you happy don't cost very much. So you don't have, it's not obligatory to buy like a whole street when you don't, like, that's not what's going to make you, like, if you don't have it, like, you don't need to be upset.
Back to the sort of whole ego, and it's just like, look
at
I own a ton of property.
For the sake of having a ton of property. But we got into property because we wanted to start our first business when we were young, and that was a pet care company. We loved it.
We were together with a family outside, and those were the things that made us happy. But having the properties running alongside,
it ticked everything. Being outdoors, being with animals, spending quality time with our family. I mean, our 20s was good.
It was dog walking, wasn't it? Was it dog walking?
Yeah. We had a dog walking. It was like a whole pet care service business. It was multiple different things.
But because we weren't stressed with forcing that business to be the thing that paid for our cost of living,
and we were building our portfolio,
it actually was able to grow without that pressure and stress, like more organically and from a better place of no financial pressure. And it actually turned out to be a really profitable, like a really a great business. We've sold it now because it didn't allow for the location freedom aspect, because it very much had to be like.
It's interesting because we feel the pressures of growth because of the amount of people that work for us, because people need to feel like they're working at a company that's growing, that's able them to provide them progression. And the only real way that we're able to do that is if we continue to grow. So growth for us isn't about some egotistical.
It's not even about money.
It's not even about money. It's about ensuring that the people that work for us can continue to feel like they're working for a forward-thinking, growing company. Because if not, they'll leave. The good people will leave otherwise.
Yeah.
I think it's very different from business and then investments. I think definitely in business there has to, especially if you're employing people, you need to make sure that they're really looked after and they feel valued, and that does mean growth.
And it also means having a big enough vision that it encompasses everybody in that as well. And that's something that Andrew's sort of really good at. It's just really sort of constantly pushing things and wanting to get bigger and grow bigger, but not for the sake of money, but just because people need, everybody needs growth.
But people need more businesses like you, because you are providing that culture that more businesses need to be like. So if you, what's that saying? Joe Lycett.
Yes, the
comedian. We went to his stand-up and it was so good, and we live by this motto that he had. And what was it called?
Oh my gosh, you put it.
It was, I think I'm going to butcher it now, but it was, if it doesn't exist, then you've got to make it yourself. So if it doesn't exist, you've got to make it yourself. So instead of waiting for someone else to create the culture or create an event or create something that you wish existed in the world, then do it yourself, and then everyone will follow suit.
Yeah, it's fantastic,
and that's stuck with us.
It's brilliant.
It's fantastic.
Brilliant. What else? I'm intrigued, you guys. What else? What's on the horizon for you? What are you guys working on? What's
So we love working business to business. We are very much support the small business freelancer
and elevating the voices of businesses like yours that are we just love being a part of other businesses that are disrupting what the property industry is meant to look like or meant to feel like.
But we love businesses who are so passionate about what they do, and that's just our whole goal, is to keep elevating the voices of all these other small businesses that are actually doing something that are just
and help other people have a financial have the financial literacy to learn how to invest, because that is something that isn't taught anywhere.
Our father, who was a very successful freelancer, he didn't have investments. So when we went through, long story short, we went through difficult times where he lost his clients, and that's the reason why we started investing, so we could stay small business owners.
Yeah,
that was a button. So it's just helping people have financial literacy, know how to invest and run a business that is their that is their soul cup filling business alongside, and then just makes for a happy life for everybody. That's the mission.
such a worthy cause. It's brilliant, because it just feels really daunting, and if you're not in the property industry, just starting out, it's just such a big hurdle for people.
Just even having the confidence. You guys had the confidence to go and do it, and maybe because of the two. Because of this two, as opposed to one.
Confidence together because we do it together.
Confidence is a big one. I think when you're young, especially in your 20s, was it how old? 20 when you bought your first property?
Yeah.
I mean, wow, that's just crazy. But not many people have got the confidence now. Oh, that's my door.
That's good. Well, people don't have the confidence, and they don't have when they don't have the knowledge. So. I think it's
that's a big one, isn't it?
With you guys showing up, being that role model, making it approachable. If we were ourselves in our 20s, we would feel probably really happy entering your estate agency and talking to you guys, as opposed to another faceless company. And I think what you're doing is you're making room, you're making it approachable for other people and accessible, which is really important. And I'm really glad I know you said that the area that you cover is the area that has grown in value the most, but it is so great that a heart-led brother business like yours is in that position to not exploit it, but do it from a place of good, where you focus on the community and you focus on just bringing everybody.
Hopefully, probably not everyone feels that way, but hopefully
they may not. That's always the thing.
There's always going to be people that don't like what you do.
We still get haters, and we're like, I think we're nice people. But
so we are middlemen at the end of the day. So you're going to have something. Sometimes you have to let people down and upset people. It's part and parcel of the job. But one of the big things that I always used to discuss and talk to people in the companies is that I want to be able to be in the local pub, in the local coffee shop, and be in there with pride. Not have somebody who's going to one day tap on my shoulder and go, "Oh, you did this to me, you did that to me." Actually go, that guy really helped me out. He really helped me, and that made a big. And how much of a big impact we can have on people's lives, because moving house or anything to do with properties is one of the biggest things people will do in their life. It's death, divorce, really stressful things.
Divorce.
So we can actually have a big impact on people.
And that's like the best approach to come with. To wrap up this episode,
we've really
enjoyed our conversation, but we'd love to ask a final question. You can do it separately or together, and it could be about anything. It doesn't have to be about property necessarily. It doesn't have to be about business.
Just be life.
It could be life, but it could be about anything. But the question is a fill in the blank question. And the question is, honestly, the biggest thing I've learned is
Go on, Ken.
Lesson.
I know what I'm going to say.
Go on then.
I think the biggest thing that I've learned, is there like a time frame on that? Is that like most recently or like ever?
Anything. It's not the last thing on your tombstone. Don't worry. We won't write it there. Your final words.
Biggest thing I've learned ever.
Do you want me to go?
Yeah, go on, you go.
So, that life has a funny way of being what you want it to be. So, you know, I think maybe I'm very lucky. I'm quite a positive individual, and I've always thought that was quite lucky. But if you've got a positive frame of mind and you accept whatever comes your way and treat it as something good and not something bad, then the bad things, you know, are never as bad as it's our perception on those things that changes. Does that make sense? So any obstacle that comes along, if you're perceiving that issue, that problem, or that you know, is something positive and it's going to have a long-term positive effect, then that issue is never going to be something that's going to keep you awake at night. Because when you're a business owner, you guys know it's hard. It's very hard, and you have sleepless nights. So we're in our 11th, 12th year now, and I've learned to treat every issue that comes and accept it for what it is, and understand that it's there, it's happening for a reason. We're going to overcome whatever comes our way. However, I mean, a death of a child or we've talked about this before, of a loved one, I can't imagine what that must feel like. But, you know, from a business perspective, you know, those big obstacles that come along, treat them as positives.
Yeah, well, it's like that saying, isn't it? We can't control what happens, but we can control how we react to things.
Yeah.
Really, really profound. That.
Yeah, that attitude has really helped me recently in the last 2 years, I'd say.
That's kind of finding a silver lining to.
And that's like you said, that's the only thing you can control. So
exactly, it's how you react to a situation. That's the only.
And I think for me, the biggest thing, especially most recently, is just not caring what people think as much, and just putting yourself out there, especially being on the social media journey like we are. You know, it's putting yourself out there and being confident with it, and, you know, being authentically yourself and not worrying about what other people are going to say and think. I think that's liberating in a way, and it gives you real freedom to do the things that you really want to do.
That's true. I think as well that comes with age, doesn't it? Because I was very much in your place, Kenny, where I'm quite private naturally, and I would find I didn't want to share. But I realized actually how beneficial it is for business and modern business to really get people to know, even through your quirks. And like, if you think you're a weirdo, there are people out there that will still like you. And if they don't, they're not your people, and it's absolutely fine. They can take business elsewhere.
Yeah, so true.
Yeah, I think it's naturally attracting and equally repelling the kind of people you want in your life.
Yeah.
What's inspired you most in your life or your journey, or a book, a podcast, or whatever it might be? You know, what sort of really had a big impact on you and your journeys?
I love how you're throwing the questions back. The biggest, I mean, the book that started it all off for us was the Rich Dad Poor Dad book.
I'm sure you've probably read it. Yeah.
And also I think our family values, learning from my dad, who was a successful freelancer, and breaking his leg meant that he wasn't able to work, was a real...
And the reason we started investing is because we wanted to make sure that we looked after our parents in retirement. So that was always our main goal, our main why through years. And then it got to we're now in our 30s, and we realized there has been an evolution of what our other whys are. I mean, especially for me now having a kid, but it's ever evolving. But our first one was always because of family first. And I think we always believe if you're thinking beyond...
if you think beyond yourself, you do more. You're more likely to do more for someone else than you are for yourself. So
like if you're just like, oh, I want that car. Of course, I like, buy whatever you want. But if you're just thinking the only goal is I want that car, it will be very short-lived, because once you've got that car,
it's like temporary.
But
whereas if like, oh, I can pay to fly my parents here, or I can pay for the energy of like the bills over their head, like that is an ongoing happiness. So I think family was always
the number one,
the inspiration.
Yeah, singing our tune there.
What was your inspiration, Ken?
My inspiration?
Yeah.
Well, funny enough, my inspiration was seeing how not to do it.
Yeah.
How not to do business, and that was my inspiration to then go and do something completely different and to say like, well, okay, well, we can do it in our way. And so in a way that the negative sides of the industry was my inspiration.
I think that's really innovative. Is that the right words? Yeah. Because you are actually, there's enough of those people. So you don't need more of those people in the industry. You have to be, so cliche, but like being more you is actually what business and the world needs, because the other models have already been done. So I think you guys are just so spot on, and I can't wait to just follow you for the next 5 years.
Thank you guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you guys. Yeah, thanks for inviting
us. I hope we live up to your expectation. Actually,
where can everyone find you? What are your what do you offer your clients, and where can everybody find you?
Our website, obviously, stowbrothers.com, Instagram, stowbrothers, @stowbrothers, and our personal Instagram @GoBros.
So that's our personal brands, sort of founder brand. And then A State of Mind on YouTube as well.
Isn't that a great name? A State of Mind.
It's not. Yeah, we've started from someone else.
Well, for everyone,
we've sort of on TikTok. There's and LinkedIn as well as another.
Yeah, we've got our own Andrew Goad at LinkedIn and Kenny Goad at LinkedIn. We've got separate ones there.
Okay, we will mention all of those in the show notes for everybody to be able to find you and reach out. If you're looking for a heart-led estate agency, family-run agency
that actually care,
that actually give a crap, go to Kenny and Andrew. They're incredible guys. So thank you once again for having us. We absolutely loved it, and we'll stay in touch.